Hello folks, I'm Mark and today we're going to take a break from the 365 updates that I normally do and we're going to open some new headphones that I've got. So I've got these Jabra Evolve2 40s. Couple of reasons why I went in for these. I've used Jabra before and they were excellent, but here's what I needed. I normally wear glasses when I'm working at a screen, so I didn't want cans. So normally I would have, say, my personal headphones, nice big cans, go over my ears. These are not huge, but they're big enough to go over and be comfortable. But with glasses on, they press on a little bit. So I wanted some on-ears. I wanted USB rather than wireless, because the most problems I hear people having on Teams and Skype calls tends to be to do with wireless headsets. So also I'm just going to show on the screen now the position of my two machines. So I often have a client machine and my personal machine, and when I'm flicking between the two, it's useful just being able to pull the cable out and then plug it back into the one real quick and move in between. I know that you can do it using Bluetooth, but this is just a faster, easier way. The next thing is that I wanted it to have a little dongle that sits on the desk. And the reason for this is you're in a call, you've got multiple screens open, and out of the blue somebody calls you to comment on a meeting or whatever, and you weren't expecting it, and you're trying to find your mouse, and then you're trying to find which screen it's on, and eventually you get over to the right screen and you pull up the right, and then you try and find the mute button, by which time they've moved on. Okay, so, but also when I'm training, I'm frequently muting on, muting off, because it means that I can clear my throat, I can have a drink, I can do whatever I need to do. But it's much easier, especially if you're screen sharing, you're doing something on the screen, if I can just use my other hand and just click that. So, from a cost and price point of view, this costs about £80 in the UK, and for all those things that I need, it was a good compromise. So, okay, so let's start getting these opened up. Okay, so my initial thoughts are that observation is that there's no plastic, there's no bits of stickers. You can see on the other screen now that I've just got a cardboard box, which I really like. So any reduction in plastic is a good thing. So it's got a few little bits on it. I'm sure that is new, but it's got a few little bits in. Let's just pop open this case. So it's got a really nice carry case, and do you know what? It's a little bit snug. But I like that because it means that when it's in your laptop case, or like in the old days when you go to work, it means that it takes up not a lot of space. So let me just pull that box out of the way and pop these out. Okay, so first observation is I expected it to come with the dongle, as you can probably tell from the fact that I wanted one. So I guess that's just going to have to be an aftermarket purchase, or if there isn't one that's compatible with this, it's going back. So let's have a look at these. I do quite like the feel of them. So they're going to kind of be on here, nice and soft around the top. I like the fact that the boom is retractable. So let us just pop those on and see what we think. So they really are quite comfortable. So I've got a bit of messing around to do and get them right. But the next thing that you're going to see is, oh sorry, I meant to say as well, that I'm not sure if you can see this, but they're the Teams version. It's got a Teams button on here. I'll include more details on the video in a sec. Next time you hear from me, I'm going to actually be using these rather than my mic that's up in front of me, and we'll see how they sound. Okay, so before we go on, I just want to show you this. So in the box,
It's just got some of its green credentials, and actually commented on the fact that there was a lack of plastic and the way it felt. So they did a bit of kudos for the fact that Jabra are just trying to make an effort with environmental points. Anyway, so I plugged the headphones in, so instantly Windows recognized them, as of course you'd expect them to. I then fired up a Teams call, and this popped up. So it realized that I was using a Teams certified device, which meant that it was the default device immediately. And then it just talked me through a couple of things. It was talking about the Teams button on the side, and the fact that it will activate voicemail as well. Okay, so I think we're going to go and have a look at Jabra's website, just so I can show you some features, but also just so I can talk on this for a little bit longer. So here we are. So let's have a look at what we've got on here. So da. So the Teams headphones got the button to launch and control and the chat app. So that was quite useful actually. When Teams is so it's not open at all. When you press the little Teams button on the side of the headset, it just fires Teams up. Okay, so I thought that's a really nice touch for someone who's using it all day long. So it's talking about the isolating foam cushions. Now it feels a little bit snug initially, but see, look at this the shape of this here. See the way it comes out and then kind of cups around the shape of your ear. That's designed to kind of cover over your ear. And actually, it feels a bit snug at the moment. I'm sure I'll get used to it. It's just that it's cupping my ears quite snugly. It has some busy lights on it, so just look here where I'm highlighting. It's got 4 of these, 2 at the front and 2 at the back. And it just shows people when you're actually busy. I could do with a great big red flashing one, if I'm honest, for my wife and kids who come bowling in occasionally. But I think, especially in the workplace, I think that if someone's walking up behind you and you've got that on, I think it'd be super useful. So what's of note here? No, let's move along. Uh, okay, so the ones I got were the Teams. So that you can see there's a couple of little features which make Teams a little bit nicer. Straight away, if it did nothing else other than fire Teams up, I'd be happy with that button. Music Matters. I haven't listened to any music on it yet, so we'll see. Not sure what's going on with this bit of their webpage. I'm sure it's me, not them. But anyway, so talking about the comfort side of things. So I talked about this kind of the shape of it. So it'd be interesting to see how it gets on, but how we get on, I get on with it. But like I say, it feels just that tiny bit snug. But I guess if I want the noise cancelling, I want it pushing onto my ears, and I want it snugly fitting. I can't have it both ways. So here we've got the app that you can download, Jabra Direct. In fact, I've already downloaded that. Let's have a look at this. Okay, so here's the Jabra Direct application. I only have the one set of headphones set up, so let's go into here. You can see that it's set up for this different software, and of course it should be. It's wired, so it should be able to work it out. If I go into the audio settings, I have some options. See down the bottom on the bottom corner, it's just launched the equalizer. Um, let's go into the device and the headset. So we can control what rotating the boom does. So going up and down. So I really like the fact that it mutes it, but you can also answer a call by flicking it down. You get some control over here over select if voice or sound shall be used for audio feedback to the user. Select off if no audio feedback is wanted. There's a couple of options. Audio protection, it just stops it being too loud and just controls the sound that's coming through. And there's some options there. So ringtone in the headset. So I might turn that on. I used to use it before with Skype and another headset, but I'll just leave that there for now. And there's just some regular information. Okay, let's go back and see what else is in here. Bluetooth not applicable to me. Updates. So I've just updated it before I came on here, so it had one firmware update to do. Into the settings. Allow notifications. Allow it to send notifications when available. Yes, I would like that. Enable it in the tray. For now, I'll leave that on. Preferred soft phone. Change that to Teams. I'm not sure what it's going to do, but let's just see what it does. So feedback, bit early for giving feedback, and there's some help in there. Okay, so useful for me to do the update, tell it that I want to use Teams as my preferred software, and maybe if I start listening to them for music through my machine, I'll go on to those other settings. Let's get back to the site and just see what else is going on down here. So product overview. Let's just have a hover over some of this. So powerful 14mm speakers. Soft memory foam ear cushions, so it molds around my ears, giving me all day comfort. That's so good, I'll forget they're there. Yeah, not sure that's going to happen yet, but maybe once I get used to them. Use the boom arm to mute calls. Okay, so really like that. And so the noise isolating design, so the way it fits actually, I was commenting on that fit. So yeah, I can see that's going to do that, and just having in mind, I can tell that even without anything active, they're a good snug fit, and those busy lights as well. And we just get down a bit more. So something that's not covered off on there. Let me just go up here and see if I can find a close up. So there's some buttons on there. See that button at the front here? You can just about make it out. That's a mute button as well. So even though they're like the boon, so you probably heard me earlier being a bit cranky about the fact I didn't have a physical button. So I've played with this, and actually, I do prefer the fact that it doesn't have that dongle on the desk. So you heard me saying that if I don't get my dongle, I'm sending these back. Well, actually, I take that back because this little tiny button here, you can just click it on and off. The mute, the boon mutes as well. So actually, I really like that. If on the other side you can't see it, there's a volume up and a volume down. But don't forget, there's that Teams button that's just on the side as well. You can see it there. It's just really super easy to use that. Okay, let's quickly get down and have a look at the FAQs. Stream music. Okay, so let's have a look at this for a second. So, some of the benefits of this being certified for Teams. So you get a plug and play experience like you'd expect. Automatic selection as the default audio device. I think that's quite useful. The dedicated Teams button will notify you of the Teams notifications when it'll flash purple. When a Teams meeting is ready to join, if you've missed a call, if you have voicemails. When you got an incoming call, you get notified. So the button can answer incoming Teams calls. It will open the meeting pre-screen, open missed calls, open the Teams voicemail screen, and bring up Teams clients from the background. That's the thing I was talking about earlier. And you get a voice prompt when the user's wearing the headset, so I'll be notified of something that's incoming. So when I'm thinking about comparing the regular UC version to the Teams version, I pretty much live in Teams. So for me, that's quite nice. What else do we have here? Well, whatever. Okay, so some technical specifications. You know what? Whatever. Are they comfortable? Do they sound good? Do they work well? It works for me. And so that's the non-stereo version. That's just the one ear, and we've got some accessories. Whoa! That's a case that I showed you earlier. That's that's got to be a typo, right? That's like £77 for right, okay, so that's got to be, so that's £92 including VAT. So and the actual headset is the whole headset themselves is 121 including VAT direct from Jabra, and the case is 92. That's amazing. Okay, so maybe it's not a typo. Okay, so there's some other models on there. So okay, I think we're done with their website, and you've had a good listen to how they sound. I think what I'm going to do now is what time is it now? It's coming up to 7 a.m. and I've got a full day ahead of me of Teams. So I think we're going to leave it there for now, and I'll check in later after I've been using them for the day.
Okay, so I have been using the headset for a couple of days now, and I have some thoughts to share with you. First one is just the general use, no big drama as you'd expect. It's the quality is pretty good. I can hear people clearly, they can hear me clearly. But I did have this issue where I could constantly hear my breathing in my head. It was only when the mic was on. So whenever I was breathing through my nose, it sounded like it was echoing in my head. And basically what was happening is that the headset was picking up my breathing from my nose and pumping it into my ears. Okay, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't me because I tested it with a headset and never had that problem before. I flipped the headsets over, they weren't doing it. The people I was chatting to, they couldn't hear me, so it had to be the headset, right? So I had a quick look at the settings again and I couldn't see anything. So I reached out to Jabra and I said to them, I'm just going to read this out. I sent them a message at 11 a.m. I said, when the mic is on, I hear the sound of breathing through my nose in the headset. I, of course, have moved the mic down past my nose to the normal position. Clicking the mute to stop this. People on the call cannot hear my breathing. My old Jabras didn't do this, neither did my old client-supplied headphones. It's as if the side tone is way too sensitive. Can this be adjusted? Now, the side tone is when you've got noise cancelling headphones. I know these aren't active cancelling, but they're such a snug fit that they do have an element of it. Is that so you can hear yourself, and you have a normal experience. It puts some of that your sound back through, but it was way too sensitive. So you said that the mic here was just, I was breathing, and it was just I could hear myself echoing around my head. Anyway, within 90 minutes, they came back. You can just see, I'm going to share that on the other screen now. So they came back within 90 minutes with the solution. The setting had to change. But my response initially was, I don't think I have that setting. So I went back into the settings. Let me just pull it back across. So you can see on the screen now. So I've got my settings, go into Jabra, go into device. And those settings are just a little bit down here. So you can see here that we've got this thing called sidetone. Let me just read this out to you. Sidetone creates a more natural sound experience by enabling you to hear your own voice when talking in the headset. Audio from the microphone is reproduced in the headset, so you can hear your own voice. Sidetone does not affect how other people hear your voice. So I could hear my own breathing kind of floating around in my head like a slight echoey. It was bizarre. But other people can't. So here's the setting here. So you can toggle this on and off, or you can change the setting. So I think, I can't be honest, I didn't check what the default was, but it must have been really high for my testing. I played with turning it off completely or setting it to low and just trying all these. I settled for having it on its lowest setting and leaving it on, and that worked really well. So if anyone has that issue with just too much breathing or too much noise going through the headset, it's your side tone. Unlike me, just remember to scroll down in the settings and then you will find that. I almost don't want to admit that I couldn't find the setting because it's not difficult to find, but you know, just maybe I don't know, whatever. But anyway, from Jabra, an amazing bit of support. Less than 90-minute turnaround for a ticket I put in. Solved it straight away, knew exactly what I was talking about, included a screenshot, so really pleased with that. Now, let's talk about comfort. So they're really comfortable, but you saw from the earlier part of the video, when I first put them on, I wasn't too sure, and I made some comments about all their comfort. Now, I'm just going to take them off for a second and just going to show you the different ways you can adjust them, and this is what you need to do. Now, it may be that you can't hear me when I pull them off, but let's just see how we get on. So you can adjust them that way, both sides. Okay, they can turn, but also inside here, this headset goes up and down like that. So you can see that you almost got 3 ways of adjustment. So up and down, and then they swivel that way, and then this headset goes that way. Now, when you put them on, initially, it may be that they're not quite right. So I ended up having to just give them a good old twiddle around, and eventually you can get the headset to be the right shape for your ears, and then turning in or out. And that's how I've got a really nice, really lovely, comfortable setup here. So that's great. The only other thing that I've got to say is, I'm just going to pull this up for you, is the wire has got, it's quite stiff plastic that it's made of. Okay, and you can see it's still got all its kinks in it from when it was packaged. And the problem with that is that when it's hanging down, the downside, it kind of kinks out and then kinks back in. You always get like these loops. So it's just, I wish they just up the quality of that cable a little bit, because it doesn't kind of flow naturally. It kind of decides it's going to take its own path between you and where it's connected to. Only a minor point, but I just wish they'd tweak that. Okay, so what else are we going to look at? Okay, let's talk about the fact that I was dead set on having a desk side dongle turn on and off, and you might see my genuine irritation and disappointment earlier when I didn't have that in the box. In hindsight, I'm quite happy with what I've got. So we've got a little button on the front here that puts it on a mute, but super useful is the ability to turn this up. So I'm going to lift this up and let's see whether it mutes me on this video recording like it does on a call. But I just lift this up, and then I'm not sure whether that it only works on the UC, but as I bring it back down, then it goes off mute. Now that works so well because I generally just keep it up when I keep it up when I'm not on a call, I'm not speaking on a meeting. Had a meeting yesterday that was from about 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. So I'm quite glad that this was so comfortable. But you have the boom sticking up and you just pop it down when it's time for you to speak. Works really, really well. So I take back the fact that I needed that desktop thing. This works brilliantly. Really pleased. Okay, so just to wrap up, the one thing that I would say is that these have some noise cancelling, which is great, and like physical noise cancelling. So rather than the active noise cancelling, but I work from home most of the time, and I'm in a nice quiet area of my house. You need to think about, do you actually need noise cancelling? So if I just grab my other headset, you can see that these old ones, they've just got foam. Okay, and it lets some air in and more sound in. Actually, if I was buying again, I might see what in the Jabra range have just got foam. I don't even know if they do, if I'm honest. But just think carefully. Do you actually need any type of noise cancelling at home? Are you paying extra for something you don't actually need? That's the one thing I'd ask you to consider before you go and buy any. If you do need a bit of noise cancelling, if you're likely to ever take them to the office, if it's a bit noisy at home, you've got kids, of course, could go for this. It's worth a little bit of extra. So just reading on my notes now on the screen, there is something quietly competent about these headphones. Apart from the team integration features where I can just click the button and Teams starts up, or when they flash to tell me I've got a meeting, I click the button and my meeting, the pre-join experience pops up on the screen. I am blown away by that. That is brilliant. All the other stuff, I don't find myself inclined to shout about anything because they just work. People can hear me nice and clearly. I can hear them nice and clearly. Even the music was okay. So if I just go on to on the screen there, so you can change the tone, and if you go into, I showed you this actually before, didn't I? You go to the screen settings and change the equalizer, just tweak that to what suits what I listen to. I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about it, but I would say to you, if you want on-ear headphones, you want them to be wired, then these are absolutely worth a look. In the notes, I put a couple of links to Amazon where you can have a look at the reviews. Regardless of where you ultimately end up buying them from, Amazon's a good resource for looking at the reviews. There's hundreds of reviews on there, You can ask questions of people who own them. So if you want to, go and check that out. If you do buy from one of those links that I post on there, I get a tiny commission, which I put towards running the sites and running the videos. So if you decide to do that, then that's great. But if you don't, that's cool as well. I was going to buy these headphones anyway, and I bought them with my own money to use every day. So if you don't, it makes no odds to me really. But if you do, I appreciate it. Okay, so that's it really, folks. Would I recommend them? Yes, I would. The only thing they lose points for really is the cable, and some people said the cable's a little bit short. If you are going to have them going down the back of your desk, for example, I think you might struggle, and it's just a bit plasticky. It's just whatever. All right, I think we are done. Hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, give me a thumbs up, post some comments. If you got any questions about the headset, I'm super happy to answer them. So post your question and I will get back to you. But for now, that wraps up the review.